Welcome to AnimeRecap. Today I am going to talk about the 2017 Japanese romance fantasy anime called Your Name. This video is going to have spoilers, so please watch responsibly. In the beginning we are introduced to our main character Mitsuha. Mitsuha serves as a priestess in her family shrine as a young girl of 17. She's a teen and rightfully upset about her seemingly dull life and her father. Mitsuha is generally a kind individual, unlike our other protagonist Taki. She is a very determined person, sometimes persistent, and also adventurous. As the movie opens, we see Mitsuha waking up from a dream she only now vaguely recalls. She heads to breakfast where her sister and grandmother are sitting. We come to know that their mother has passed and their father, who is a member of the Holy Shrine, has left them and joined politics in order to become a mayor. Her grandma is the head of the shrine and extremely devoted to the family's tradition. The scene changes and we see the news on the TV that a comet is about to pass near the town of Itamori, Mitsuha's town. We also know that the same phenomenon happens once in every 12,000 years. Mitsuha goes to school. We see her sitting and turning over the pages, still somewhat lost when she notices a handwritten note in her notebook. "Who are you?" She looks at the note in wonder when her teacher calls her. She stands and the teacher mocks her that at least she remembers her name. She is told that yesterday she didn't remember who she was. Her friends tell her that she had forgotten her desk, her locker, even her name. Mitsuha says she doesn't remember anything. She tells them that these days she feels as if she is dreaming. At night, Mitsuha and her sister are shown performing a special dance in front of grandmother called the kuchikamizake. It is a ritual where they are shown chewing rice and then store them in a little bottle. This paste will later become alcohol, which we come to know that they place in the shrine. During this dance, Mitsuha's friends come and make fun of her. Mitsuha doesn't like it at all. She is frustrated with her life in that town. She cries and yells that she hates her life, she hates her town. Then she prays that if she ever has a rebirth, she would give anything to be a young handsome Tokyo boy. Next morning a boy wakes up named Taki. Taki is a 17-year-old high school boy who lives in the city side of Tokyo. In his daily life, he spends fun times with friends and works part-time at an Italian restaurant. He holds a secret affection toward his co-worker and senpai Okudera. He is a bit sensitive toward others and quick to anger, which causes him to be impatient and stubborn. He is mentally unkempt and behaving in strange ways as if he is in a dream. He checks his body. However, he has full confidence that whatever it was just a dream. He goes to school the next day. He doesn't recognize anyone. His friends come to him and they all go to a cafe. He really enjoys the food and eat gourmandizingly as if he has been eating these for the first time in years. However, this is not Taki, it is Mitsuha in his body. They have body switched and she is enjoying the food, as none of these things are available in her town. At that very moment, he receives a message that he has been late for work. He tells his friends that he is late for work but does not know where he works and what his job is. His friends look at him in wonder. In the next scene, we see Taki in a restaurant with no clue what to do and messing up everything. He doesn't know what to do and where to go, but he really enjoys Tokyo's life. Before he sleeps, he writes something on his hand and uses the name Mitsuha. Next morning, Mitsuha wakes up in her own body, in her room in her village. She doesn't remember anything from yesterday. On the other hand, Taki wakes up too. He looks at his hand and wonders who has written the name Mitsuha and who she is. He remembers nothing. Actually, they are living each other's lives in each other's bodies, and when this happens several times, gradually the people around them realize that whatever they have been doing during those switches doesn't seem to be done by them. Later, we see that this switching has become a routine and both of them have fully realized that they switch bodies. So, they start leaving notes for each other. They plan to share the day's events in written form because they remember nothing from the previous day. They also introduce some rules, for example that they cannot shower and cannot touch each other's bodies to which they have switched. Mitsuha is also warned not to spend too much of Taki's money. In the next scene, we see that the day has arrived when the comet is about to pass Mitsuha's village. They are in their own bodies. Taki notices that Mitsuha has left a message for Taki that she has fixed his date with Miss Okudera, an adorable teacher who everyone likes. Taki is happy and goes on the date. On the other hand, we see Mitsuha. She is extremely upset with tears in her eyes. She is in love with Taki. Taki and Okudera spend an entire day with each other, and before leaving, Okudera tells him that she doesn't feel it to be him. He seems like a different person. After she leaves, Taki once again reads the notes left by Mitsuha where she has written that when his date is over, there will appear a comet in the sky. He looks at the sky but there is no comet in the sky. He tries to call her on the phone but her cell is not reachable. Next, we see Mitsuha who is looking at the comet in the sky. The comet splits into two. The scene changes when we see Taki. He is worried as it has been days since they have switched bodies. Neither he goes to her body nor she comes into his body. This worries him. He doesn't know where her town is. He never paid attention to the town. However, he starts collecting recollections from his memories of her town in bits and pieces so he could go there and meet her. He prepares a sketch and goes in search of Mitsuha's town with his friends. They kept searching, but despite their best efforts, they couldn't find any clue. They get tired, and while eating in a restaurant discussing the sketch, the chef looks at the photo and tells Taki that the town's name is Itamori. She tells him that she was born in the same village. Taki exhilarates and tells the chef that he remembers the name of the town. The chef tells Taki and his friends that the town was been destroyed 3 years ago, in 2013, by a comet which killed everyone in that town. Taki goes to the site and sees that the entire town was destroyed by the comet, creating a gigantic crater which had now turned into a huge lake. Taki is in utter despair. He's too late. He comes back and starts exploring the phenomenon by checking records. He finds a register where all the details are given and also the names of all the people. He finds Mitsuha's name. Taki checks his phone for her messages, but he notices everything Mitsuha has written has disappeared. Taki now believes that whatever he had seen and experienced was nothing but an illusion and a dream, and that it has nothing to do with reality. We then see Miss Okudera in Taki's hotel. She has come to console him. She sees a ribbon of red thread around his wrist and asks where did it come from. Taki tells him that 3 years ago he met a girl. He says he didn't know who was, but she gave that red ribbon to him. Taki says that the ribbon is very dear to him as it brings luck. That's why he always puts it around his wrist. Next morning, Taki's friends wake up and see that Taki has left a note for them. Taki has told them to go back to Tokyo and that he will come back afterwards. We see Taki going to the shrine, which has been the shrine of Mitsuha and her family for generations. He remembers the temple from that day when he was in Mitsuha's body. First, he thinks it is a dream, but then he enters the shrine and sees the shrine is real. He comes to know that everything he had experienced is real, with the only difference that Taki is in 2016 while Mitsuha was in 2013. Their bodies switched from different timelines. That's why when he called Mitsuha that day on her phone, he couldn't reach her. She had died. Taki sees the small bottle from the alcohol ritual, with the chewed rice, which he himself had put there when he had switched bodies with Mitsuha. Taki opens up the vial and drinks from it. As he drinks, he makes a wish that he needs another chance to save the village and its people. He begins to see everything he has experienced during the switching period. He begins to see everything in front of his eyes, from her birth to the last day. He remembers how Mitsuha has spent her entire life in Itamori, how she used to leave messages and what she did while being in his body. He also sees that the day Mitsuha fixed the date of Taki with Miss Okudera, she was so disheartened and she even had gone to Tokyo to meet him. Taki sees that Mitsuha has met him in that train, but he didn't recognize her because that had happened in the year 2013. He didn't know her back then. Mitsuha, before leaving, had given him the red ribbon of her hair. He sees Mitsuha coming back to her town and watches the comet. The comet splits into two. One piece of the comet strikes Mitsuha's town. Next moment, Mitsuha wakes up. It is in fact Taki in her body. She cries with excitement. It is the same day when the comet is about to strike the town. Mitsuha goes to her grandmother and informs her that the comet is about to destroy the whole town and kill everyone. Grandmother understands that it isn't Mitsuha but someone else in her body. She tells Mitsuha that she herself had experienced these types of dreams and even her mother had. She tells Mitsuha that the phenomenon runs in the family. She also tells Taki, who is still in Mitsuha's body, that these dreams vanish away in time until nothing is left of them but an illusion. Then Mitsuha realizes that if Taki is in her body, then she must be in the shrine in his body. She runs there to meet him. On the other hand, we see Taki in the shrine with Mitsuha in his body. Taki goes to a top from where he could see the big crater created by the comet back in 2013. Mitsuha in Taki's body understands that the crater has been created when the village has been annihilated. It is actually 2016. At that moment he hears Mitsuha's voice. She had also arrived there, but her timeline is different. She is in 2013 and Taki's body is in 2016. The place is the same but with different timelines. They meet but cannot see each other due to the timeline difference, but we can see the chasm created by the comet in 2016 where Taki stands, and no crater in 2013 where we see Mitsuha. Then the sun goes down and right at the time of dusk, they suddenly become visible to each other for the first time and can touch each other. They are in their own bodies now and Taki returns the red ribbon that Mitsuha had given him in the train in 2013. Then they look at the sky to the approaching comet. Taki tells Mitsuha that he is afraid they might forget each other, That's why they have to write down their names on each other's palms. Taki writes his name on her palm, but when Mitsuha tries to write her name on, we see the pen drop and the moment has ceased. We see Taki still standing there, and Mitsuha has gone to her own timeline in 2013, leaving Taki in 2016. Taki is worried that he might forget her name, so he wants to write it in his palm, but he doesn't remember anything. He has a faint idea that he had come here to save someone but doesn't remember who. Next, we see Mitsuha running towards her town. Her memories also start to vanish, and as she opens up her palm, she sees that Taki has not written his name. Instead, he has written "I love you." Mitsuha comes to her father and convinces him that the comet will strike and destroy the town. Her father takes immediate steps by evacuating the town. Thus, the entire town is saved. Taki has returned home and 4 years have passed. During this time, he remembers nothing. He has a feeling, an emptiness, that he has lost something. On the other hand, Mitsuha is in Tokyo now. She has similarly forgotten everything, but she also feels that she is missing someone and that she is looking for someone. She doesn't know who that person is, and when one day their trains cross, the moment ceases and they look at each other in wonder. The next station, both get off the trains and look for each other. In the final scene of the movie, they find each other still confused about how they know each other. Taki couldn't bear it anymore and asked her if they knew each other. After listening to his voice, Mitsuha cries. They then ask each other, "Your name is," and the movie ends here. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notification and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.